Now, here, the government is set to announce that construction of certain sections of Britain's long-promised new high-speed rail line, HS2, are to be postponed to save money. The delay is likely to affect sections of the line from Manchester to Crewe and Birmingham to Crewe. The project has run billions of pounds over budget and is years and years behind its original schedule. But it remains the government's flagship transport levelling up project and the largest infrastructure project in Europe. Let's talk now to our transport correspondent, Katie Austin. Katie, it's a long saga and we haven't got all day, but in essence, what's the continuing problem with HS2, which means that none of us are surprised when there's yet another delay announced?
Well, the government keeps saying that it's committed to HS2. It keeps on saying it's committed to the London to Manchester part of it, at least. You might remember that the eastern leg has already been drastically scaled back, and we don't have a definite timeline for that yet. But also, while saying in public it's committed to the project, we know that behind the scenes a lot of work has been going on to try and find ways of bringing down the costs or controlling costs, with the impact of inflation having a big impact in the past year or so. And this is at a time when the Department for Transport's budget is not going to go up by inflation. So the BBC understands that we are expecting an announcement from the government soon that they will look to delay some parts of the project. Now, my understanding from the background to this is it's extremely unlikely that there would be any change to the initial stretch, which is from Old Oak Common in West London to Birmingham. I mean, work on that is 40% complete already. I don't think it's likely that the scope or the timing of that would be changed from its initial, from its current timing as well. Not the initial timing, but it's currently due to open between 2029 and 2033. Where there's more questions is, what about the phase 2? So from Birmingham to and from Crewe and then on to Manchester. Maybe there could be some changes to the timing there. We don't know if the eastern leg would be included in today's announcement. So we're waiting for details. But the other thing that is being mooted is whether there would be any delays between the final stretch of that first phase from Old Oak Common in West London to Euston in central London. Old Oak Common will actually be the end of the railway when it first opens, with the plan for Euston to open later. The Chancellor, Jeremy Hunt, recently seemed to quash reports that the Euston terminal would never open. Perhaps we'll find out soon whether something else will happen to the plans for that station. Had to say, no confirmation at the moment of exactly what is going to be announced.
The fear is that we presumably could end up with a railway line that slightly speeds up journey times to the Midlands, but actually doesn't do much more in terms of increasing capacity and doing what this government, at least, because it's a change of political emphasis, wants to do in terms of levelling up the north of England.
Yeah, I mean, HS2 isn't just about journey times. It's meant to be about capacity as well, basically freeing up space on the rail network. So experts who support this project in particular say that if you start cutting it back or delaying it, you reduce the overall benefits. I think the cost angle is quite interesting as well, because when I spoke to the boss of HS2 recently, he acknowledged that there was a lot of work going on to look at the scope of the whole project and how costs could be cut. The question is, you might spread out the costs by delaying certain sections, but do you save money overall? Unclear. And he said to me, actually, in the long term, you might not save money by delaying it, but we'll have to see if the government has any kind of explanation of its thinking.
I know you'll be back if we get any more on this, but it's the key breaking story of the morning. So thank you very much for giving it to us here on BBC News. That's an exclusive to the BBC.